Hey people, Turner back again with another awkward tutorial. This time for GarageBand. If you're not a Mac user and you're in my class, I will have also done the same tutorial for Reaper. Okay, so that'll be pasted into the same document. Anyway, for Mac users, keep watching. I'm going to use something else that's not GarageBand. It's almost exactly the same. It's called Logic Pro. It's just the Pro version of what GarageBand is. It's a digital audio workstation. It's basically the environment that we digitally record music. So here we go. First thing that happens when you log in is it's going to give you these options. We're going to go for the mic option here. And that means we're recording real audio tracks using a microphone. I'm going to go back to my document that I've given you, the guiding document that's going to tell you what to do step by step. So step one is obviously plug in USB mic. I'll have shown you that in class, but this is something I've already done because I wanted a good microphone so you could hear my voice properly. Open door, the GarageBand, I've already done that. Great. Check that your DAW or GarageBand is using that mic as its input, because you can see here with the green thing that it's registering my voice, but you can't see whether or not it's using the microphone that I want. So I could be recording through the computer's dodgy sounding mic, or I could be recording through the nice USB condenser mic. So let me go and check. In your case, you check that by clicking on GarageBand. Mine says Logic Pro, but yours will say GarageBand. You go to Preferences and then Audio. And in my case right now, it's exactly the scenario I want, but in your case, if you've plugged in the mic, it'll probably look like this, that the output device and the input device are the same. Input device means the thing that's capturing the recording, and output means when you press play, which speakers are being used. So I don't want the microphone's internal speakers to be used. That's not cool. So I'm going for built-in output. This is the setup that you want, okay? Now, I've got that the way I want it. Awesome. I'm just going to create a few extra tracks. You do that by pressing the plus sign like this, and it takes you through this protocol again. But if I know I want more audio and just make a copy of the exact same track, you press this little one to the right of the other plus button and it just hooks you up with a bunch of others. So there I have 5 tracks, which brings me to my next little point, or not yet. Check, and I'm going to change this, check the overall gain of your USB mic. So that gain is something we use to describe how sensitive the mic, or how much the microphone is actually hearing. I think it'll become more clear when I show you. So if I go to System Preferences, I go to Sound, and I'm in Input, not Output. Output's a different thing. Input, that's how much the mic is working. You'll see here that I'm already using this microphone, which is what I wanted. If I turn this up, my voice is going to get louder and more distorted as you listen to it now in this tutorial. Blah! You can see it's distorting probably. And if I turn it down, you're going to probably stop hearing my voice at some point. I'm going to keep blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. So you can see the sweet spot is somewhere around here actually. If you turn it up too high, the sound you're going to get is too raucous and out of control. So it's about 60 or 70% mark. Okay? You guys got that? Awesome. Now, hitting the record enable button. This is important because what we're doing today is talking about multi-tracking. That's recording more than one track simultaneously, or separately. So I'm going to click Audio 1 and press the R button. That doesn't mean I'm recording. It's called Record Enable. It means that when I do press this button over here, which is how to record, it's going to record on that track. So you can see there that it's recording on that track. So we're going to record a little bit of music, so something like some old school swing. Okay, let's see how that sounds. Now I'm going to edit this down by clicking in the lower corner and go to the bit where I actually made some music. And if we listen back to that together, okay, notice how you could hear that coming out of my computer just now? That brings me to my next point, right? So the whole idea of multi-tracking is recording instruments separately and voices so that you have more control over their volume and the way that they sound. If I was to put this microphone in front of a rock band, I might get a pretty good recording, but I'm more likely to get a recording where some of the instruments are too loud and some of the instruments are too soft and I can barely hear others, and I want to change some things, but I would have no control. Once you've recorded a track, it's like you can't change the volume of the guitar in relation to the drums or vice versa. Okay, I know I'm boring you right now, but that's how it is. So I want to record a harmony track for this melody right now to illustrate my point, and I'm going to show you why we would use headphones at this point. So I'm not going to use headphones right now. I'll try and just press record. Okay, I wasn't really happy with that recording anyway. But you're going to see something. If I just solo this track now, press the S button means I'm only listening to the one I just recorded. Okay, I can hear in the background the other part. So it's kind of like there's no point recording separate tracks if I don't just have only access to that one instrument. So although you guys can't see this, I'm about to plug in a set of headphones, and then I'm going to record over that one, and I'll have them isolated, headphone isolation, right? So now, okay, I'm deleting that track, I'm going to record again. As I play along with this track, I've got it in my headphones, okay? You guys won't be able to hear it this time. And I'm going to play a harmony. Let me get it. Okay, that's my little harmony part. Let's do that. Oh, that was a mistake, but it illustrates my point earlier of being careful which one track you assign and record enable. So now record enable the proper one. Okay, hopefully that sounds okay. So now if I put the two together, okay. Okay, that works. I made some silly mistakes, but who cares? Now I want to lay down another track. You see, this brings me to another point. Like, I'm trying to get these two parts in time, but I have only the other track that I've recorded as a guide. If you're really clever and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about a metronome, you'll click on these things over here and you'll set this tempo. If I just, hopefully you can hear that. Let me turn up my computer's volume. Hopefully the microphone's picking up that click. You'll record along to a click track, and I can change the click track, how fast it is. Hear that? And I'll bring it back up to 120 BPM, beats per minute. If you're really clever and you're playing something that is in a standard time signature or whatever, you'll record the first track at least along with a click track. That way it'll be in time. You know that it's reliable, that it's not just a human error, that someone's just racing ahead or whatever. Let me lay down one more track here to illustrate a few points. I'll just put a rhythm guitar track down. I should have laid a click track for this part with no counting. You'll see, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be a risk taker. Okay, that was really out of time and weird. But anyway, here we go. I had the headphones in, now I'm going to take them out again so that you guys can hear the finished track. So I've just made it. Ooh, here's another interesting point. If I solo this, I don't know if you can hear it, but that's really distorted. That either means that that rhythm guitar track is so loud as I played it in, it's distorting. It sounds really sort of, I don't know if you guys can hear that. But anyway, it's distorting. That means the microphone gain, I should turn it down a bit. But I'm not here to model a perfect recording anyway. I'm just showing you guys the techniques. So I'm going to turn the volume of that one down. Okay, now now we get to talk a little bit about fixing the levels. So mix the volume levels. I can either press the mixer button over here. See this little thing? That's going to take me to the mixer, and I can see all these tracks. I should give the names tracks like melody, maybe harmony. I don't know why I would want to use capitals. It's a waste of time. You get my point. And maybe rhythm guitar over here. Okay, so I've got and you can see down here I can adjust my volumes over here, but it's a bit more pro if I do it down here. You can see that I can adjust the volume levels relative to each other. So I want to take this one out altogether and just have the two. Now I can fade the rhythm in. You can see that's way too loud. Alright, so I want to keep the melody a bit louder, the harmony not quite as loud as the melody, and then the rhythm guitar sounds disgusting, so I'm just going to keep it down low in the mix. This is what's called mixing. Okay, another thing about this whole mixing thing is that they're all coming out both speakers. And the whole idea, I mean, especially if you're listening in headphones or a nice pair of speakers, is you want to do what's called panning. This is another one of our keywords. Okay, so panning means deciding which speaker, which instrument should be playing out of. And you can do that up here, or you can do that down here. So up here, I'm going to say I want the melody to be in the middle. I want the harmony to come out the left speaker only. If I take it to the extreme, it'll only be the left speaker. And I want this one to come out the right speaker. Now, on your computer right now, you're not going to really hear that because this whole thing has been recorded through one microphone, but you might notice the difference. Whoops. It definitely makes a difference to me here, but you guys, because it's being recorded through this one microphone, you won't notice the difference. But it's really important because it gives each thing its own little space. And sometimes pulling the volume up and down isn't enough. Sometimes you've just got to say, separate them by the speakers, and the human brain hears them different. You'll see what I mean. Experiment with that. That's what you need to be able to do to make a good recording. And finally, when you're satisfied with the final product, and you're like, yeah, this is great, there's two ways to do it. I like to specify by putting this, see this little loopy button? That's actually good to use as a looper. If you just want to hear one bit over and over again, see how it's bouncing back in that orange bit? That's good to hear one specific part over and over again. Like that. Or it's also good to say, oh, this is my track. This is when I press export or bounce, it's going to be from there to there. And it shows you if your track, for example, ends here and not all the way out there. There are other things that might be fancy for you to do. If you press the button A, for example, it brings up this automation thing. I might teach you how to use that in class, but using this volume automation, if you want to get a fade out, this is my volume line. If I want it to automatically fade out, I can use that. So I'll just show you what that sounds like. So this one, now it's going to start fading with that line. So that's how you get a fade out. Anyway, so that's you press the button A just by itself as a shortcut, and it does that and brings up this complicating looking stuff. But basically you can automate the volume. Like I press these little bobbles. If I press, see what I did there? Press those things there, and I can move things around. I could make things get louder and softer over the course of a mix. Okay, this is getting beyond what I need you to do for this unit though. So yeah, how to download it. In GarageBand, you've got a thing that up around here, somewhere that says share, and then you would export song to disk. In the case of Logic Pro, I would have to go to share down here, and song to iTunes, blah blah blah. But actually, I'm going to export, or it's going to be a bounce project or selection, and there it asks you what I want it to be. Probably an MP3 is what you want. MP4 maybe, I don't know, and then you go OK. Okay, that concludes everything that you really need to know to create a decent recording for this unit.